An-Nur Haj Muhammad is from the Muslim community in the Eritrean capital Asmara.
فالإسلام دخل في إريتريا 614 ميلادي بعد ما عملوا عليهم قريش النبي وصحابته عملوا عليه ضغوطات فقال لهم سيدنا الرسول قال لهم امشوا للحبشه لان فيه ملك عادل دخلوا مصوع وعملوا فيه مسجد بعدين قابلوا هنا النجاشي استقبلهم استقبال كويس ووروه عن الاسلام يشهر ما كان طبعا قبل كده كان هنا الدين المسيحي وبعض القبائل الوثنيه كانت اريتريا هنا في البلد ده خصوصا على ساحل البحر الاحمر كلها دخل الاسلام بالجزيره العربيه بدون حرب بدون اي حاجه.
اهلا شكرا. اهلا انت اسمك مين؟
صالح إدريس.
صالح إدريس. اهلا وسهلا.
اهلا وسهلا.
فانت يعني رئيس القبيل في القريه هنا.
ايوه شيبه القريه هنا.
انت من الناس العفر. العفر. يكون كيف؟
حقنا نحن ناس استنونا هنا قبل كده موجودين ابهاتنا ابهاتنا جداتنا كله احنا مولودين في البلد هذه.
The Arab legacy is evident on the Dahlak Islands, and indeed some of the inhabitants proudly proclaim their Arab ancestry, as this local official confirms.
أهلاً وسهلاً. أهلاً وسهلاً. شكراً جزيلاً. تعتبر نفسك يعني عندك دم عربي ولا بتشوف نفسك يعني بس إريتري فقط؟
لا أحس بس دم عربي هذا أصول وجذور لا ننكر.
وبتتكلم عربي في المنزل وكذا؟ Do you speak Arabic at home?
نتكلم باللغة المحلية اللي هي الدهلك.
So you speak in the local Dahlak language, and does that have any Arabic in it? اللغة الدهلكية فيها أي كلمات عربية؟
فيها كلمات عربية وفيها كلمات من التقرو وفيها كلمات من أنواع كثيرة ملخبطة مأخوذة من هنا ومن هنا.
إزاي يكون أنتم ملخبطين؟ Your language is mixed, just as you are.
Ahmed Zakaria is the chief curator of the Ethiopian Studies Museum at Addis Ababa University.
Saudi Arabia used to export dates, textiles directly from their product or as intermediary from Indian Ocean to this area. So there were precious items for palaces and for the churches. The relationship between the Arabs and the Axumite Empire, we see it extremely smooth relationship because families were going there and some Arab settlers were also coming here. And so we are talking of stronger relation, blood tie relationship, not only trade. So the Red Sea was not a barrier, one could say.
However, the rise and growth of Islam began to challenge the power of the Christian Axumite kings, and this led to hostilities between them and the Muslims. The Axumites made a series of attacks on parts of the Arabian Peninsula that they didn't control, like the coastal town of Jeddah across the sea from the Axumite port of Adulis.
Ships used to come to Adulis and attack, and leaders of Adulis were also going to Jeddah and attack. That was going in between them for a long time. The Arabs became strong in late 7th century. Islam unified them, and they started expanding.
It was trade that made the kingdom of Axum great. And one of the main reasons for its economic decline was that the Arabs seized control of the Red Sea trade route from them. For a kingdom whose wealth had been based on trade, this was a severe blow to its power and prestige.
By the 8th century AD, the Axumite port of Adulis had been destroyed, and Axum would not be able to recover its former standing. Thus, the center of power shifted inland from the coast.
But Ahmed Zakaria says religious rivalry wasn't the only factor that led to the decline of Axum.
Axum decayed because of environmental factor. Some archaeologists suggesting that the water table moved down, and that affects the vegetation of the area because they were depending on ivory, slave, and gold. Ivory was out of business because of the ecology. And there was also another suggestion, it has to be proven, that there was a disease, endemic disease in that area, and Axum decimated because of that.
All this meant that the decline of the kingdom was imminent. The history of the kings and patriarchs, or the Kebre Nagast, which glorified Christian rule, describes the violent end of the Axumite era.
If it was the Muslims who'd contributed to putting the Axumite kings under pressure, it was their old rivals, the Jews, who dealt them the final blow. There'd been Jews living in this part of Africa well before Christianity was introduced. Many of these Jews had converted to Christianity, but some had kept their religion. So, towards the end of the first millennium, there were Jews, Christians, and Muslims all living in Axum. It was a kingdom in which the three major monotheistic religions cohabited, but at times their interests would diverge. Traditional accounts relate that Axum was destroyed by a queen called Judith or Judith, and that she was Jewish. She was probably from the Agor people, who were Judaic in culture and basic religious beliefs. I'm granted a rare audience with the head of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, His Holiness Abuna Matthias, who tells me more about Queen Judith and the impact she had on the church.
She was a warrior woman. So she destroyed the Ethiopian historic holy books in many parts of the country, and she was, unbelievable. She did unbelievable destruction in the country because her belief is Judaism, not Christianity. So she destroyed many books. So she is not accepted by the Ethiopian people.
Judith, or Judith as she was known in Amharic, could have been a figure representing several individuals who may have existed over 2 to 3 centuries. Whatever her provenance, she's held to have destroyed all symbols of Christian and imperial Axumite power.
In fact, the Judaic influence from Ethiopia's early history is still evident today.
Judaism was in Ethiopia before Christianity, and many of them converted to Christianity, and the others stayed in their own Judaism religion belief, but they were in Axum and in other places also.
But to this day, I understand that Christian Orthodox believers in Ethiopia do have some traditions which are similar to Judaism. For example, the circumcision of boys on the 8th day, and also it's forbidden for people to eat pork. And Saturday is also a bit of a holy day as well as Sunday. How many traditions of Judaism do you think have remained in the Christian Orthodox Church here?
Well, yes, the Saturday was respected by our forefathers because according to the Bible. So gradually, now we are celebrating Sunday mostly, but it was mixed before, many years ago. Both were respected by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
So, according to tradition, the story of Axum began with a woman, the Queen of Sheba, whose son Menelik became the first Axumite king, and it ended with a woman, the Jewish Queen Judith. Her burial stela lies in a field in Axum. Ironically, her name and grave are forever connected to the great kingdom she destroyed.